Today, we're going to be debating which song is better based on 12 different matchups. We're going to have 90 seconds to prove our points for each matchup. And we have themes such as intro songs, songs from the same artist, and much more. So let's jump right into this with the first matchup, which is Family Ties by Baby Keem versus Off Deez by J.I.D.
So listen, I have Off Deez, and I think a lot of people are going to look at me crooked for this one, but I think that the rapping performances by both rappers are better than the rapping performances.
Not better than Kendrick's, man.
Yes, J. Cole has a better rapping performance than Kendrick on the final verse.
With that.
And bro, listen, J.I.D. absolutely washes Baby Keem, at least in my opinion.
I don't think he washes Baby Keem because it feels like Baby Keem waited his whole life to deliver that verse. And when you're looking at the different flow switches from Baby Keem, not only that, but like the grand entrance that this was for Kendrick.
You want to talk about flow
It was
switches?
his return after 2 years, and to me, this
doesn't
bro,
take away from the fact
this
that
entrance was like Tony Stark coming into the fucking expo for Stark at the beginning of Iron Man 2 when Shoot to Thrill is playing and he's fucking jumping into that stage. That's the type of grandiose feeling this song
really
gives you.
Fucking worried about
Production's
Tony Stark.
better. Can you admit that?
So what was the point about the Tony Stark analogy? What I'm
It's
telling
how
you,
big of a song this is and how big of a moment it was.
If you compare both of those like rapping performances side by side, I'm telling you, it's day and night.
Kendrick has 5 different voices on that song.
You see the speed
was
at
ruthless.
which J. Cole was rapping at, and you see the different flow switches on J. Cole's part as
Kendrick
well.
gets him on that.
Wordplay is also better on J. Cole's part.
Where's the production better? Because if you're gonna tell me that
no,
that
Family Ties is better produced, but bro, you're getting 2 fantastic rapping performances. So I would go Off Deez.
I would definitely go Family Ties. So that's the first round. You guys let us know in the comments what you think. Let's move on to the next round where we have Stargazing by Travis Scott versus Codeine Crazy by Future. We have an intro off of an album versus an outro off of an album. And this is super interesting because I have Stargazing, and I think that it's the better song, again, when you're looking at
it's not even the best song on Astroworld. It's not
the best song on Astroworld, but there's multiple songs on Astroworld better than Codeine Crazy, and Stargazing is a great example because I love how psychedelic it is. I love the fact that you're hearing people's screams as they're coming off of a roller coaster. I think it really sets up setting better than Codeine Crazy does. Not only that, but I know Codeine Crazy is a beloved song, but when Future goes into like the high pitch vocals for the hook,
on which verse?
I feel like for the hook, I feel like he didn't execute on that well.
It's not really high pitch singing whatsoever.
It's high pitch auto tune, absolutely.
Yeah, but like he's not really like doing too like it's not screeching or it doesn't sound awful.
It's like
it's
too
one of the
fragile and it doesn't sound great for him.
And I genuinely think that's a bad take just because I think it's one of the catchiest hooks in his whole fucking catalog. I mean, there's so many people that gravitate towards this song, but regardless of like the status I think that there is around Codeine Crazy, I just do think that when you look at what Future has to offer as some of his biggest bangers, Codeine Crazy is there. It's arguably the best off of Monster as well. And like I said, like if you wanted to come in with something like maybe not Stargazing, bro. Like I'm not sure. Like I will give Stargazing maybe the production,
the atmosphere,
the production is a notch better. But like I just genuinely don't think that every matchup we go into we could say that production's better. Okay, songs automatically
but even
better.
Travis Scott's performance is better if you're just looking at the way that he's filling in spaces on this song.
But the melodic crooning is better on Codeine Crazy.
If you're looking at his ad-libs, bro, if you're looking at his melodies for the background vocals that he sets up, there's never a feeling of emptiness within that song.
But I feel the same thing for Codeine Crazy, though, talking about that, like how vulnerable Future is and how emotionally raw that song is for him and his catalog.
You get 2 songs in one with Stargazing, but how are you going to deny that?
I don't care, but you're getting an undeniable classic like Codeine Crazy. I feel like, especially people do regard it more as a classic than Stargazing.
We ran out of time, but that's Stargazing versus Codeine Crazy. Next up, we have 2 Kanye and Jay-Z collaborations, 2 of their best, without a doubt. We have Otis versus Diamonds from Sierra Leone remix. And to be honest with you, I'm all the way on Otis here. I think that the genius of the way that Kanye flipped that sample, 3 different parts of Try a Little Tenderness from Otis Redding, that was amazing. Not only that, but if you could ask the board of hip-hop, all right, for the perfect luxury rap song, they would present you on a silver platter Otis. If you're looking even at the quotables off of that song, I made Jesus walks, I'm never going to hell. Or a Kanye line like, write my curses in cursive, I get accustomed, you a customer. You ain't accustomed to going through customs.
You can read me all the bars. I'm super familiar with the song.
More quotables on Otis.
On what basis, bro?
Diamonds Diamonds are
forever, baby. Like this is one of the most underrated songs in his whole catalog. That's one. Two, I do think that the sample flip on Diamonds from Sierra Leone is a bit more complex and more well calculated than what it is on Otis. I still love Otis though. It's one of my all-time favorite collabs from them. But I also think that, again, you're getting a better rap performance by Jay-Z on this song, and Kanye said it himself.
I think you're getting a better Jay-Z performance, but a better Kanye performance on Otis.
Very debatable though. The way he entered that song was beautiful, and not only that, but like it's a song that constantly keeps you engaged. So does Otis. I just feel like there's more of maybe a luxury feel to Diamonds from Sierra Leone.
No, there isn't. In terms of luxury talk, bro.
I'm not talking
about being in Havana, smoking Cubanos with. Come on, bro.
Brother, I have genius for your lyrics. You don't have to recite them. What I'm telling you is that yes, there is good lyrics and there's a full.
Well, I'm giving you fucking quotables, bro. Something that you refuse to bring in.
I feel like there's full of quotables within it. Because, bro, I have genius.
Not as many as in
dude,
Otis,
anyone could go through Genius and grab up lyrics. The reason why I think it's a better song is just it feels like it's more complete as a track. I do like the sample switch better. I do think that Jay-Z has a better part on Diamonds from Sierra Leone, and for me, it's their most iconic collaboration ever. That's just what I have to say.
Otis is the epitome of the perfect luxury rap song.
But you could argue that Diamonds from Sierra Leone is one of the best tracks that was ever released from that three trilogy from Kanye.
And Otis is the best collaboration, arguably, from Kanye and from Jay-Z. Next up, Woke Up Like This versus Shoota. 2 Playboi Carti and Lil Uzi Vert collabs. And here's my thing with Shoota. I love the song, but I just feel like there's less chemistry between both artists if you're looking at that, because Uzi has the first part and that whole setup is amazing. He totally steals the show. But the thing about Woke Up Like...
The build-up is better. The build-up is better on Shoota.
The chemistry is better on Woke Up Like This.
For what reason?
Because they're going back and forth, and while Uzi has his verse, Carti's giving you ad-libs. While Carti has his verse, Uzi is giving you ad-libs. Not only that, but they predicted the future 5 years later, because they're literally talking about how people woke up and started sounding like them. That's why this song has aged much better to me in regards to Shoota, just because they had something to say that ended up predicting how influential they would be to this new scene.
Again, I understand, because you got genius for this sort of stuff, but I'm saying is that, bro, regardless...
Forget about genius, bro. I'm talking about my interpretations from the fucking lyrics,
I know,
bro, right? You're going to keep up bringing genius as an excuse.
But that's what I'm...
Chill the fuck out.
Like, you just keep reading lyrics, but there's no actual argument behind it.
Yeah, I'm taking away subject matter from the songs, bro. Yeah, you're going to sue me for that?
We're on the same podcast. What are you talking about? What I'm telling you is that...
You're going too deep on this, man.
Jeez.
It's a fucking figure of speech, brother.
Fucking Lou, bro. You see what happens when I like poke needles at you when I find those little weak points in your arguments because you bring in these stupid fucking...
The production's also better Woke Up Like This. When you're looking at the synths, the electric guitar sounds...
I haven't gotten to my point yet, if you'd like me to make it. First of all, I think that the energy that you're getting from Shoota is much grander and much more... Bro, are you kidding me? The build-up to Playboi Carti's verses... It has a better build-up,
I gave you that. Doesn't mean the energy of the song's better.
Bro, of course it is. The drums are much better on the song as well. Playboi and Uzi have arguably better verses as well, just because they're more extended and you're finding them ripping into this delicious beat, bro. I also find that when you have to talk about their collaborations, this is the one that sealed the deal. Woke Up Like This was the entrance.
Woke Up Like This sealed the deal. That song was their main fucking...
It is.
This is their most iconic.
But they leveled up. They leveled up.
Totally disagree.
They leveled up on Dilute.
All right, that's it for... Woke Up Like This versus Shoota. You guys let us know in the comments once again. Next up, we have 2 Diamond songs, all right? 2 absolute smash hits. We have The Box versus Rockstar.
Don't lie to me and say The Box hasn't gotten annoying, bro. Come on.
To me, both of these songs have gotten stale. The only thing to me... That was actually genius. I love the way that's actually implemented throughout the whole song. Not only that, but I feel like when I'm thinking about Rockstar by Post Malone and 21, it feels like the most fabricated hit song ever. Like, it literally feels like it was made in a factory, just because you have a song that was written by Joey Badass, for instance, all right? So it's not even their lyrics.
So there's no...
Not only that, but you have Post Malone rapping about fucking hoes and popping pillies. Then you have 21 Savage, who was popping off during that time. He was like the feature guy to get during that 2017 time period. Not only that, but you're also getting a song where even if you go into the lyrics, bro, it seems totally fabricated.
Both the Genius lyrics?
I'm not pulling up Genius lyrics.
I know you were going to pull them up again, but I mean, it's a fabricated
The Box song, bro, is actually a song that has a message. He actually had something to say on that one.
Pull up the Genius lyrics.
I don't have to pull it. I know what the song's about off the top of my head.
And I know you know, so you don't have to recite your... But I'm telling you is that has to be one of the most annoying hit songs that I've gotten in the past 3 years at the moment. It's aged horribly. The song has aged horribly. If you're going to tell me that you genuinely think it was a good placement to put the in front of the whole song, that's cap.
I think the vocals from Roddy are way better. His vibrato...
Roddy's vocals are better than Post Malone's on that track? Absolutely.
The way that he's switching from one pitch to the next, one line after the other
gotten into my point. Not only that, but the atmospheric and dark production is much better on Rockstar. You have a 21 Savage verse that would be the best verse on the box, and as I said, it's fucking annoying at this point, bro. How many times are you gonna hear ear until you want to fucking rip your ears out?
Rockstar is a plastic song that has no soul to it,
bro. They're both fucking.
It has no soul to it.
What are you talking about, bro? This song is connected to billions of fucking people, and so has the box, but bro, like, so what makes the box more soulful of a song than Rockstar?
Roddy's vocals, bro. Roddy's soulful vocals. What do you mean?
What do you mean, Roddy's soulful vocals?
Have you heard the inflections in that song? Bro, have you heard them?
I have heard. I have heard them, and they
don't
sound
good.
The same
fucking excuse,
exactly, bro. Because how could you put that in a song and then listen to it in 2022 and not feel annoyed? Plus, like, you want to talk about vocals, bro? Don't act like Post Malone didn't have a fantastic vocal performance in there. Super rustic vocals. It was great. Absolutely, it was, bro.
Bro, Feeling Whitney. If you want a nice Post Malone fucking performance,
and if you want a better Roddy Ricch song, go to Out the Mud.
All right, guys, we're over the limit for the time on this debate: Rockstar versus the box. Let's move on to the next one. And these are two Tyler the Creator songs, and they're both two-part songs because what Tyler does on all of his albums, especially after Wolf, is the 10th song on every album is actually a two-parter song. And we brought in Gone Gone Thank You versus 911 Mr. Lonely.
So what do you? I don't even know what you have. What do you got on this, bro?
To be honest with you, I'm going with 911 Mr. Lonely.
I think I'm actually going to say I think this is the first time we're
going to agree on this one.
I think we're going to have to agree on
What makes you put 911 Mr. Lonely above
I just feel like, especially for the context of like Flower Boy, like that just had so much meaning to like what, you know, what Tyler's career was at that moment. Plus, I do love how it fits a bit better the soundscape of Flower Boy than what the other one does, maybe for...
Oh, I think it fits it perfectly. It does. Thank you.
It does, but I mean, when you listen to 911 Mr. Lonely, there's a certain feeling that you get, and I remember it being automatically one of my first songs that I ever gravitated towards on that track list. Plus, like, you're just getting a two-part fucking symphony, bro. It's one of the best produced tracks in his whole catalog,
and, I mean, they both have clever song structures. I love the bridges and the short contributions from Steve Lacy and Frank Ocean.
Not only about but the transition in both songs are both fantastic.
Not only that, but like, you're getting Tyler the Creator, who's kind of singing in a sense where he's super desperate looking for love, and actually rapping about how like he is this emergency hotline where the people in his life are only calling him when they need something from him. So I love the deep subject matter from that too. It feels more personal to Tyler himself, whereas Gone Gone Thank You was more about him, what the Igor character accepting that he can no longer have this partner in his life.
What instrumental do you prefer? Like, let's say out of all the parts, because like what, there's maybe like 4 parts. In
I like
total,
the second half of Gone Gone Thank You.
Yeah,
in terms of instrumentally.
Yeah, that's my favorite instrumental.
Yeah, but both phenomenal songs from Tyler's catalog. But let's move on to some of the most iconic songs from Dr. Dre's 2001. 2 comeback songs for Dre. We have Still Dre versus Forgot About Dre.
Forgot About Dre takes my W, baby. Absolutely. I mean, okay, this is probably Eminem and Dr. Dre's best collaboration. Well, I could say that maybe Nothing But a G Thing is probably Snoop and Dre's, so I think that's why it's a bit better of a song as well. I love Still Dre. I think it's an anthem. I think it's one of the most iconic songs within all of hip-hop, but I do think that Forgot About Dre is, objectively speaking, probably like top 3 on 2001. Absolutely.
When I think about West Coast hip hop, when I think about G-Funk, when I think about the marriage between Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, I think of 2 songs being Nothing But a G Thing and Still Dre. And I think that Still Dre is the best anthem that they've ever put together. I think that when you're looking at that song,
though.
To me, it's a masterclass of preparation and execution, because you had Jay-Z, who totally did reference tracks doing the parts of Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
Okay, but this goes back to a point you were making before.
They bring in their own fresh style to execute down that. Bro, Scott Storch's legendary piano riff, it's a better produced song as well.
It's a better produced song.
Then Forgot About Dre,
I'm
absolutely.
not sure about that. All the live instrumentals on Forgot About Dre produced by Dre. That's all produced by Dre as well.
Dre produced it with Scott Storch and Melman as well.
I mean,
Dre.
but Scott Storch's keys is obviously the biggest component to that Still Dre beat. I'm just like, at least
both
the way the
beats. It's the major takeaway out of that album for me in terms of production.
But what I'm trying to say is that the point that you were making before about the Jay-Z like taking care of Still, like, why did you bring that up for Joey and Rockstar then? Like, why do you use that
just
argument?
Just because it showed a reverence of Jay-Z, because he knows them so well. he crafted those verses for them as if he was them.
And Joey's a top tier lyricist that could write any song he wants, and he made a fucking diamond hit. So
yeah,
I mean,
but
like,
that's a song.
Like, why are you using arguments that you made against me in your own arguments?
Let's not go back to a different debate. Let's speak about this.
But you gotta keep track of your own debates.
Besides Eminem's verse,
you gotta keep.
What's your argument, bro? He had
not only that.
Lyrically speaking, Eminem takes every verse on both of these.
Absolutely. Yes. Not only that, but I do think you're actually getting the better Dre verse, because Dre goes into context about how he feels in the game right now, and he's actually a family man. I feel like it's a lot more personal of a touch, and it kind of feels like Dre's underdog song. Like, everyone forgot about Dre. Like, everyone was counting him out.
Still, Dre has the same message.
It's just different, bro, because it has more of a mainstream and anthem type of vibe to it, where Forgot About Dre, I feel this feels like it's more of a complete song for me. So that's why I'm going with Forgot About Dre.
I think still Dre is the more timeless song, but you guys let us know in the comments. Next up, we have two songs that feature Drake and Rick Ross, a legendary duo. We have I'm On One by DJ Khaled versus Stay Schemin' by Rick Ross featuring Drake and French Montana.
What do you got on here?
This is tough just because I'm On One was such an important song. This was the song where Drake went to snatch the throne and said that it's for the taking, and this led to obviously Jay-Z and Kanye making Watch the Throne.
Yeah, so there's an important history behind it. So I'm probably going to go on I'm On One, to be honest.
I'm going to go on Stay Schemin'.
Really? For what reason? I think that Stay Schemin' is one of his best feature verses, but like, as you said, like, if you want like the pinnacle of like Drake's hunger in a verse, like I'm On One is on that pick for me. Plus, like, it's easily DJ Khaled's like best song, bro. For sure.
I think Drake gave just one of his best ever guest verses on Stay Schemin'. I mean, him rapping about like having to call Lucian Grange to get a bigger budget on his album. His confidence is just brimming throughout that entire song. French Montana, we got to give him his flowers on his song. He had a great hook on here as well. I think the production is also superior on Stay Schemin' once again. And Ross's verse, again, is better on Stay Schemin' than it is on I'm On One.
You got a French Montana feature in there.
That's good. That's solid, bro. You can't always fucking downplay French, bro. We got to give him his flowers where it's due.
Would you rather have French on or off that song?
On, bro. He has the hook. He did a great job at the hook. What do you mean? That's such a crucial like element of that track.
Listen, I genuinely think that Rick Ross and Drake were going to be able to take that song without French Montana, and like, either way, bro, get fucking Drake that hook, you know? Like, Drake could probably do it just as good, not maybe even fucking better, and it would have sounded just as good. Like, listen, I don't doubt that French doesn't have a bad part. It's just, like, French usually always feels like filler for me on a track. Like, that's kind of the way that I feel about any sort of part
that's
that he
has. That's a generalization,
in
my opinion.
But it's less over here on Stay Schemin', but in the context of Stay Schemin' versus I'm On One, it's definitely a point to make.
I do think it's a tussle between these two, though. I will say that. I think it's a close race. But next up, we have one that, when we were talking on the phone making these matchups, I knew you were going to go this way, and I'm going to be shook if you still have the stance. But Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill versus 3 Peat by Lil Wayne, both intro songs.
I think Dreams and Nightmares means more to the community, and it definitely has a certain feeling and aura around it, especially for the 2010s decade. What do I enjoy as a song more? If you ask me what I play more on a daily basis, 3 Peat.
No, I'm talking about what's the better intro song here.
I think 3 Peat for me. What do I think is the better song musically? What do I think is the better rapping performance? I think it's definitely Wayne on this one.
Oh, and not only that, that's such a horrible fucking take,
why is it a horrible
Dreams and Nightmares?
You're getting one of Wayne's best verses in his whole career.
You're getting literally Meek Mill's best ever song, bro. Bro,
I don't want to put Meek Mill in the same conversation.
At the concept,
I get Dreams and Nightmares. I get Dreams and Nightmares.
Can I explain why it's a better song, or do you want to finish your thought on 3 Peat?
No, I want to finish my thought on it. What I'm trying to tell you is that even from a rapping performance standpoint, yes, Meek Mill put in a fuckload of energy and passion into that song. I respect it. I love it. I think it's super iconic. But if you're going to argue with me that Meek Mill had a better rapping performance, you can't argue about that complete verse on 3 Peat and literally saying that, bro, this is the pinnacle of Wayne's career, bro, and he opens up one of the biggest albums of all time.
Forget about the album, bro. Let's talk about the song.
But you just asked me, what's the better intro song to the album?
Can I give my point or not, bro? You know, let me
But you asked me a question. You said, before you asked me why you think it's a better intro song, it's one of the best intro songs to one of the biggest albums of all time and one of the biggest magnum opuses that the genre has ever seen. And you asked me why, I have it more in my rotation. So, yes, I respect Dreams and Nightmares, but I'm still taking 3 Peat in this case.
Dreams and Nightmares is on a whole nother spectrum for me in terms of intro songs. When you're looking at the momentum that Meek Mill builds from the first verse where he's talking about his aspirations, everything he's had to overcome to get to the position that he's at now with the somber piano, and how that escalates into the second part where you're having more of a haunting trap production. It's absolutely mind-blowing because Meek Mill's energy, he's sounding charged up and he's rapping like he has to save his life to be able to execute on that song. Not only that, but you're also getting amazing punchlines from Meek Mill that are equal, if not better, on these particular songs than Lil Wayne's. I don't have Genius in front of me to fucking point it out, bro.
That's what I thought.
Like you think I do. You can start bringing in your own lyrics if you want to outprove me.
Why are you gonna start saying that there's better punchlines if you can't even bring me in a fucking example?
I go and get it regardless. Draw like I'm an artist. Are you gonna?
I'm gonna go and
show
get
me the evidence. Show me the evidence of
a
better Wayne punchline. You can't.
I don't.
Exactly. I didn't bring to Genius
because I don't bring Genius into these conversations.
But then you asked me to fucking bring it in as evidence. When I did, you can't do the same thing.
When I asked you a question, you literally just recited a bar off of Genius. Like you, but you, I'm not sure if you're understanding. Like there's no validity to that.
Bro,
like,
this guy is chronicling his come up story. And you're gonna tell me that
and Wayne has officially reached the pinnacle of hip hop and starts off his album with this song.
Not even the best song on that album, bro.
Who cares if it's not
better performances all throughout it.
Bro, you're already using arguments that used against me. The same thing with Stargazing when I mentioned that.
No, you're the one that mentioned that there's better songs than Astroworld, bro.
Exactly. So then why? And then you went against that argument. So why are you?
Because you said that it's the pinnacle of Wayne when it's not even the pinnacle on that album,
bro. But it's this way. It's the start to the pinnacle. It's how you start off the Carter 3. If you don't think that's a good way to start off your album, I'm sorry, but you just don't know the fucking Carter 3. What do you want me to tell you?
The Philadelphia Eagles celebrated to this fucking song after winning the Super Bowl, bro.
Fucking PSG could have celebrated to it.
When you're looking at hype songs, this is at #1 of that list.
The Montreal Impact could have done it. I really don't care.
Next up, we have 2 posse cuts. Oldie by Odd Future versus One Train by A$AP Rocky. And this is an interesting one. I have One Train right off the bat.
I could go either way on this, but I think that... What do I prefer for a chill listen, and what do I prefer just playing in the background as overall? I think I would go Oldie because One Train is definitely better lyrically on that type of level. But I like how Oldie is structured because you're getting super quirky verses from every most Odd Future members, and not only that, but I think one of the most iconic verses from all of these posse cuts is Frank Ocean's over here. Like that Frank Ocean rapping performance was fantastic. The way that Tyler starts off the song as well, I think was on the same level, if not better than A$AP Rocky. And I just think overall, yes, maybe you're getting a better cast of rappers on One Train, but I feel as if chemistry-wise, you're getting a much better chemistry with something like Oldie.
I totally disagree on the chemistry point, just because even looking at the first 2 verses... Can I talk, or you want to butt in?
No, I want to butt in.
Okay, so I'll tell you if you're not, let me fucking speak. So first off, you have Rocky's verse. He ends up his last word saying outlaw. Kendrick jumps back in, starting off with that same rhyme scheme. His first word is outlaw. Not only that, but when you're looking at the song as a whole, you pretty much got a bunch of promising rappers from the same class all hopping on this one song. So what this meant for hip-hop was a beautiful thing because it was kind of like the freshman cipher that everybody wanted to hear that you ended up getting on A$AP Rocky's album.
Yeah, but
not only that, the production, bro, the sophisticated strings that you get from Hit Boy on that song, it's absolutely fucking beautiful. And like you said yourself, lyrically, bro, bar for bar, when you're looking at a posse cut or a cipher, what you're looking for is the bar work. And it's superior on One Train.
No, I do think that "Get Out of My Life, Woman" by Solomon Burke is a better sample than what was used on One Train. I think it was a commercial that they had used and sampled for One Train. I think that also, like, I agree with you, the chemistry is immaculate just because you do have a bunch of people coming up throughout that time. So the only thing is that, like, Yellow Wolf doesn't have that.
He had a great verse.
Yeah.
He had a great verse. I don't know why people doubt that verse. It's great. Danny
They
Brown
doubt
had a
it 'cause
great
it's
verse.
not that great.
Action Bronson had a great
Absolutely,
verse.
they all did as well. But even at that, like, yes, I agree with you, but like automatically you're gonna find more chemistry with an Oldie because you're getting the magnum opus of what that Odd Future run is, bro. Like, it's literally like one of the coolest collectives that have ever came up, bro, within the genre from the 2010s decade, all coming together and creating this fucking crazy lyrical onslaught that's super quirky, that has this beautiful production layered in back of it. And I think that, bro, these guys have been rapping together for a minute now. They came up together. So it's different. You have guys from different camps coming together, but you have a camp coming up together. That gives me more quality as far as chemistry goes, at least in my opinion.
I think One Train's the better song. You guys let us know. But next up, we have 2 First Day Out songs. We have First Day Out by T Grizzley versus First Day Out by Kodak Black. And these are probably 2 of the biggest, like, you know, fresh out of jail tracks. What would you have over here?
First Day Out for Kodak. And I think that it's maybe just because, like, I have a personal bias towards Kodak, that I was really invested in his career when he's making this run. He released this in 2017, and he had fantastic albums that I dropped prior to this, and then he went on a whole nother run with First Day Out. Like, it really did feel like he was charged in a different way. And even at that, First Day Out gave my mama 100 racks and bought an iced out AP watch and bought a Cuban Links just to match. Like,
there's the genius.
But that's what Of course, bro. Listen, I had to bring it
so
on.
you can bring it in, but I'm not allowed.
I didn't bring it in on 15 fucking songs,
bro.
And I didn't bring it in like without backing up anything else.
This is another horrible take from you, by the way. Keep going.
Why is
I'll let you finish your thought, then I'll jump in.
Why is it a horrible take, though? I would like to know before I proceed with it. Like, what makes this take horrible?
First Day Out by T Grizzly is much better.
No, but I read the bar. Why is the first take? I'm in the middle of reading lyrics, and you tell me that's a horrible take. I'm not even done my take.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, but what I'm saying is that you jump to conclusions. So now I'm gonna
because you're bringing in lyrics. And the lyrics are way more superior on T Grizzly.
On what basis?
On the basis that he's actually putting you into his shoes. He's asking you, have you ever been in a federal courtroom? Have you ever had to fight for your life on trial? He's making you sympathize with him in a totally different light. Not only that, but his writing approach is immaculate to this song because he's really outlaying and painting this picture of all the trials and tribulations that he's had to go through, how he's lost friends, how this process of being in the system has made him feel so lonely and isolated from everybody else in his life. Not only that, but the production actually shifts. You have a beat switch, whereas the Kodak song is a bit more one note, and I feel like his cadence kind of stays stagnant all throughout it. I feel like on a dynamic level, T Grizzly is offering you way more from a written standpoint, a production standpoint, and even in terms of energy.
But Kodak Black provides you that same thing as far as content matter goes. If you go through this, by
it's
the
not
way,
as deep. I went through both songs.
If you go through this whole verse, by the way, one verse, that's all he needed to do this song. You could realize that yes, Kodak had gone through so many different things with the court of law, and that he had gotten into a lot of legal trouble. But what the verse means to him is that you still can't bring me down. I'm back. I'm fresh. I'm gonna take over the game. And I feel as if what he accomplished over T Grizzly 2 was. Had a better run than him after this First Day Out song, bro. Like this set the tone for what was to come after.
Now we're talking about a run, bro. Let's stay on the fucking focus,
But the First Day Out song is the way that you start your career off after you get off.
This song blew up T Grizzly, bro. This was the song that took him to heights and got him signed to 300 Entertainment.
And this song was fantastic.
This had a much bigger impact on his career.
This song,
no man.
Yeah, but I mean, like Kodak has a much bigger career, arguably.
But that's not what we're arguing. We're talking about one song versus another, bro. You wanted to bring in the impact of each song. I'm telling you, T Grizzly had a bigger impact with his.
And that Kodak had an incredible run after that. But what are you talking about, bro? I'm literally giving you the reason.
I'm giving you the facts,
for nothing.
Bro.
You're just screaming for nothing. It doesn't even make sense in the microphone. Like what I'm trying to tell you is that, bro, you're accomplishing the same thing lyrically on this one verse, bro. Absolutely.
No,
you have a guy that's literally been through it all throughout the legal system and telling you that regardless of how much bullshit that you want to put on my shoulders, my family's eating, I'm eating, and I'm going back with it. And I did for this episode. Trust me, I go through it, bro. I prepare for these episodes, and when I see a bias, bro, I say, okay, I'm gonna go after this because I think that this is superior.
All right, next up, we have George Bondo versus John Woo Flick, which are two Griselda songs. And listen, there's countless Griselda songs where you have Benny, West Side Gun, and Conway the Machine just ripping it. But we chose two songs that I feel like are kind of similar in tone. And one of them comes off of Pray for Paris, which is one of the Griselda's best.
That's what I'm going with, by the way.
You're going with George Bondo?
I'm going with George Bondo.
Why are you going with George Bondo here?
I just think that, like, especially for the time that, like, Pray for Paris that came out, like, you had so many people that were paying attention to the Griselda run, and people were paying attention since like 2015, 2016. But I think that it's the best posse cut that you like. If you could consider a posse cut, I'm not sure if it's 4 or less. Is it considered a posse cut or not?
Posse cuts are like the orgies of hip hop. It's like 4 rappers or more.
Okay, so you can't really. So I would just say, like, as far as like the Griselda thing, like I think that John Woo Flick is there as number 2. I just think like when you go through a track list, what would you rather see on that album? Would you rather see John Woo Flick, or would you rather see something like George Bondo? It's arguably their best collaboration together, and I would maybe even put Warpaint on the same level as John Woo Flick as well.
I would put Headlines there as well. There's so many great cuts from them, and I think George Bondo is a great pick here. I have to respect it. I think the ad-lib work from West Side Gun is also more entertaining on George Bondo. No, I'm going John Woo Flick.
Oh, why?
I'm going John Woo Flick just because both of these songs have these violent premises, but I feel like they really upped the aggression on John Woo Flick. When you're looking, especially, again, bro, it comes down to the bar work. If you're looking at the way that Conway is rapping, like, sprayed 80, woke up the babies. Then you have Benny going to the extremes of being like, I'm going to kidnap someone to kind of execute the mission properly. I just feel like this is them going full throttle with how much vigor and kind of just violent extremes they want to take it
but
to.
George Bondo is a bit smoother of a listen
It
for
is.
me. Like that's where I'm gonna get it. It's like I feel like they all had smoother cadences and flows throughout the whole track. I also think that when you have to look at the song on a musical level, I do prefer the sample on George Bondo than on John Woo Flick. I think it was a better flip, and I do think that when you're looking at the upper echelon, excuse me, of Pray for Paris, this could be argued as the best track on here, as alongside, 327, So I have George Bondo in this regard, but I'm still such a big fan of John Woo Flick.
Yeah, they're both great songs. I just think that they really went the extra mile with John Woo Flick in terms of making a movie that's pretty much a crime scene. That's kind of what it felt like listening to that song for me. But that wraps up all of our matchups. Is there any one that like I might have convinced you for the other side?
No, I think the worst one that you argued today was the Box versus Rockstar. I think that still was a disaster.
I think your worst one was three-peat over Dreams and Nightmares.
No,
bro.
Because listen, don't let the internet jade you, because people
It's
are
not about the internet, bro. It's about my experience with the music.
bro, like,
I don't care. It's my subjective thoughts, bro.
Listen, Three-Peat's a fantastic fucking song, and it's arguably Wayne's best intro. So I could definitely argue for Three-Peat, at least in my opinion.
Anyways, guys, you let us know what you think of all of these matchups. Who do you think won if you did a count of each matchup? Where do you guys disagree with us or agree with us? And let us know if you guys want to see this series come back on the channel. Thank you so much to everybody that has been supporting the channel and all of these videos. It means the world to us, and it's always a blast doing them. Thank you for watching this one, and we'll catch you in the next one.